And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me that Trump definitely, his attack that he levied against the NFL was very strategic.
I got to keep tweeting, and he tweeted again.
Well, but you also got to think about it from this standpoint that he hadn't been able to get anything done. Like all the other...
Okay, it's a distraction. Distraction.
Right.
But what I hate for the sake of the NFL players is he keeps daring them, challenging them, and they feel like, as a man, I got to kneel next Sunday. But every time you kneel, I feel like you might be playing into his hand.
You do.
Exactly. Ding.
You do, because people then think you're protesting and boycotting him.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you look at LeBron in that article, he says it's hard for me to believe the state that I live in voted for him. GQ article. It's hard for me to believe the state that I live in voted for him, and some of these are my fans. He says it's hard for me to believe.
Well, it's always hard for a simple-minded, two-dimensional thinker to believe things that are right in front of their face. Shannon, I got a lot of love for you, brother. I think that you're a very intelligent man. But you have to get over a lot of the issues that you clearly had from your childhood in regards to race. I'm sure growing up in rural Georgia, Shannon was subjected to a lot of racial hardship. And the fact that he didn't have his father in his life, all he had was his grandparents and his mother, who knows how that affected him. What I'll say is this: Shannon Sharpe is clearly a success as a person, as a man. He's extremely erudite, great mental recall, high mental acuity, very intelligent. But in regards to his view on this whole racial issue, no, sir, it's not going to work.
And I think the other part is that the owners would rather have football players with concussions than a conscience. And that's really where we are, is that people have conscience. We live in a different... It's just
different now.
It's just different.
Everything.
Yeah, it's called woke. We're in the woke era now.
Everything's changed. But to me, I think it all falls on the owners, actually, because the players have been forced into a corner, like you said, and with Trump tweeting, it's now something has to give. Well, you're the powerful ones.
You are.
So you're the ones that's
handle him.
Yep.
No. Joy Taylor, no, you're wrong. It doesn't fall on the owners. It actually falls on whoever has the least amount of power, if they're the ones who are coming with the complaints, to either make it happen for themselves or to give in or to find people with power who can assist them. It's not incumbent upon the owners to assist the players other than to placate them to whatever degree they can comprehend what it is that the players actually want. These are billionaire Caucasian men. I do not expect them to really truly be sympathetic to so-called black issues. The so-called black man has to face the facts that whatever mountaintop you're trying to get to is not going to be holding anybody's hand. All right, period. All right, so now we're going to view a very good conversation that the crew at Speak for Yourself had in regards to the players meeting with the owners, Colin Kaepernick, as well as the other Trojan horse in the NFL, or one of the other Trojan horses, the nut job Michael Bennett. Let's see what they have to say.
Welcome back. Greg Jennings here. We're joined now by my co-host on the herd, Christine Leahy. Let's return to the National Football League, where Michael Bennett continues to speak out about the league's ongoing controversy over the national anthem, and says there can be no solution until Colin Kaepernick gets back in the league.
You see that? This is why the NFL owners will not concede or fully concede to the players. Because if they concede even a little bit, you're going to have people like Michael Bennett, whose job it is to be an agent of chaos, to try to take the extortion to a whole nother level. Now he wants to try to stipulate personnel decisions. Okay? This is why you cannot have people like Michael Bennett. And this is why I told you this guy's a nut job. From the time that I saw the video that they had of him in Las Vegas, I knew that he was a nut job. Matter of fact, from when I first did a video about him, when him and Stephen A. Smith had an issue. And I think I even entitled it Boule Negro versus Liberal Negro. Because I knew that there was something off about this character. All right? So they're going to have to do something about Michael Bennett.
I think the first step to even being able to even have a conversation.
The first step is for you to stop looking like a damn homeless man at a shelter. All right? Talking about equality on your sweatshirt. You have the equal right to take a shower. All right?
Is make sure that Colin Kaepernick gets an opportunity to play in the NFL. I think that's before we even negotiate anything about whether we sit, whether we stand.
So even more important than what Colin Kaepernick's cause allegedly was for you is that Colin Kaepernick get back in the NFL. Okay. I wonder why that is. Is it because you both represent the Black Lesbians Matter movement? Could that be what it is, Michael Bennett? Whatever happened to that court case? You still bring that court case against the Las Vegas police? Or you just happy now that you can see your kids? I just want to see my kids. I got 3 kids.
Then it should be a negotiation about opening up the doors for Colin Kaepernick and giving him an opportunity again. Because I feel like through everything that's been...
Look at what's on this guy's cap. It says human. Human and equality. No, he just needs to have on I wonder on his drawers if it says white man please, and then on the front it says on the back it says white man please, and on the front it says give me a hug.
It's been lost. I think all of us are having opportunities to be able to speak to our employers, and then to think about the guy who started everything, not to be able to have a voice at this moment, it just doesn't seem very right to me.
Well, Colin Kaepernick has had multiple chances to have a voice. He could have opted into his contract. He could have signed with the Baltimore Ravens or went in to speak with them. Shannon Sharp alleges that he's called several teams, supposedly. He also had a chance to attend the meeting that was held in New York, and he chose not to attend. And this is as per Malcolm, what's this guy's name? The guy with the Eagles, the cornerback with the Eagles. Malcolm Jenkins, that's the brother name, Malcolm Jenkins. He claimed that they invited Kaepernick, and Kaepernick just didn't show up, didn't give a reason why, none of that. So that tells you right there what Kaepernick's true quality is as a leader. He's not a leader at all. All right? Because he supposedly is leading the NFL woke movement, and he could not even, be called on to show himself in an event, in a meeting that was going to determine what the owners were going to do in regards to the protest. That tells you that Colin Kaepernick does not want the protest to end. Okay? It's too much chaos going on right now, and he likes it.
All right, Whitlock, would Kaepernick's return to the NFL solve the anthem?
That's a nice photo they got in the background there. I wonder what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, you're going to meet me over at the Black Lives Matter headquarters after the game? Yeah. We're going to meet with the 3 dykes who are leading the organization. We're going to have a good conversation.
Anthem issue.
No, I think it would actually accentuate and make it worse. Look, Michael Bennett and a lot of these players clearly aren't businessmen and aren't thinking like businessmen.
Agreed.
Man, look, the numbers are in. The ratings are down for this league. The players get 48% of the revenue generated. They're making a bad business decision.
Agreed.
To see Michael Bennett standing up there with this equality T-shirt when he lied about the Las Vegas situation.
Thank you, sir. Stevie Wonder could see that fool was lying. Stevie Wonder could see that Michael Bennett has mental issues. And when you watch how the cops dealt with him, there was nothing wrong with how they dealt with him. Once again, there are too many black men who are going through real racial situations with the police every day to really entertain that bullshit that Michael Bennett was trying to perpetrate. All right, he's a bad actor and he's an idiot. That's what his dumbass is. There's nothing personal against him. I don't hate him per se or anything like that. I don't hate any so-called black man. But you do a disservice to all so-called black men when you get involved in hijinks like that. He's trying to be somebody that he's not. He's trying to be a leader, and he's not a leader. All right? He can't even lead his family. He was ranting and raving about wanting to be able to see his kids again. But you're over there in Las Vegas, hanging out at a casino, at a club after a fight, when your 3 daughters are over at home. If you love your daughters that much, you should have watched the fight with them at home, in the safe confines of your home with your children and your wife.
And the police came out and basically proved that he lied.
Thank you, sir.
He comes off as fraudulent to me.
Agreed.
And the whole equality, it's a gesture. It's contrived.
Let me finish it out for you, Whitlock. It's contrived. All right? That's all it is. If these guys trying to be something that they're not, if these guys trying to wear clothes that they hope will register subconsciously in the minds of the viewers, it's not helping you. It's coming off as a dude who's trying to beg, who's trying to hope that people feel sorry for them. No, I don't feel sorry for you. All right. You're 6'4", 270 pounds. You're making millions of dollars every year. You have the ability to take care of your wife and your family. If you truly want to help the so-called black community, then you have plenty of resources to go ahead and do it. Stop begging the so-called white man for a hug. Stop trying to stipulate personnel decisions in the NFL when you're not acute enough to evaluate what the financial decisions should be.
It's a slogan. I don't see any substance to what he's talking about.
Neither do I, because he's not substantive as a human being. That's why.
And
let me say this too. The Bennett brothers, they were constantly being feted by the liberal media, I would say, for the past 3 years. Anytime you put on ESPN, the viewers were being told how smart they were and how witty they were. They came up to me like a couple of fucking high school class clowns. All right? They didn't come off to me, either one of them, as being especially smart. Nothing against them. But, there are guys who are humorous, and you can tell that they're intelligent. Shannon Sharpe is an intelligent dude. You can tell, even by his humor, he's witty. All right? He's extremely sharp. His retorts are sharp and quick. Michael Bennett and his brother come up as a couple of numbnuts who sat in the back of the high school class.
I don't think it'll solve anything if they give in to Colin Kaepernick. This, to me, proves that this movement has never been about what they keep saying about, it's about poor people. We're being the voice for the voiceless. And speaking about police brutality, this is about Colin Kaepernick and his job status. He lost his starting quarterback job, and he pouted and sat for the national anthem. It's always been about this. There's no substance to what they're talking about. Again, these guys, Colin Kaepernick made $43 million from the NFL. And now we're throwing a tantrum about some black elite that made $43 million and pretending like we're really speaking for poor blacks and the voiceless. It's a joke.
Well, I partially agree with what Willock is saying there. I believe that Kaepernick was mobilized a little earlier than that. But I definitely believe that the tipping point was when he lost his starting quarterback job to Blaine Gabbert. I believe that that's when he truly was totally disenchanted with playing in the NFL. And this was a way for him to get attention. He was thrust back into the starting lineup. Suddenly he was in a position that he'd never been in before as a man, and that was being viewed as a leader. But now the black players were looking to him for leadership because of his stance off the field. So I think that it started to become something that was alien to him, that he was slowly starting to grow into. I think that being questioned by the media was starting to grow laborious, and I think that he needed a break. That's why he doesn't organize any type of interviews or press conferences, because I think that it became a little too much for him. I think that he needed a break from the NFL. That's why he opted out of his contract. But he has to act like he wants to go back and play. Once again, Shannon Sharpe claims that he was calling teams and trying to get interviews or trying to get tryouts. Look, somebody's lying. All right? No disrespect. Maybe Shannon thinks that's what he heard. I truly, honestly believe what Ray Lewis said. I have no problem believing that. A lot of people are upset at Ray Lewis. You know how the internet revolutionaries are. Everybody's a coon who comes against Kaepernick because Kaepernick is their savior. I don't think that Ray Lewis has anything to gain by quote unquote lying. He doesn't come off to me as a liar. I think Ray Lewis comes off as a pawn. All right? He's a pawn. He was being pawned by Jim Brown. I believe that Jim Brown and what's his other brother's name? The offensive lineman. They were using Ray Lewis to try to lure Colin Kaepernick out. Ray Lewis, in his simplicity, just said, okay, whatever you guys want, I'm going to help you out. I believe that he tried to organize an interview with Steve Bisciotti, and I don't know, maybe Kaepernick got a little hesitant or what have you. Either way, his handler, Ness Nitty, got mobilized, and she decided that she was going to shut it down.
It's fraudulent.
Well, the question is, would Kaepernick return to the NFL solve the anthem issue? I don't think protests are ever solved. I think the component of social media, almost everything now in the country simmers.
I agree. And it just erupts every once in a while. Especially now with everyone having a camera. Anytime a black man is placed under arrest by Caucasian officers, even if they follow every protocol, you're going to have people around. So, what are you doing? Why are you being so rough? Why are you doing it? Why? This is why, once again, the solution for our people is going to be having their own police force. It will put the onus on so-called black people to actually create a protocol, to create structure. This is something that our people are not used to doing. Our people are too accustomed to looking to the white man to develop logistics and framework. That's a problem. All right. That's why our people can't build, because we're always looking to the Caucasian to create a framework for everything, for us to, like a child looking to an adult to create a playpen to play in. That is not conducive to building a society.
Nothing is solved. We used to have big PR staffs and things would go away, and it doesn't work that way. Young people have a voice. They now have an instrument. Used to be young kids didn't have the voice. Social media is an instrument for the people that don't have the CEO job, that don't have the corner office, that don't have the status, that don't have the wealth. So I don't think you...
I totally agree with that. Now through social media, everybody has a voice now. And that can become problematic because a lot of people speak and they speak without knowledge. They speak without information. They speak emotionally. All right. Like I've said before, the so-called pro-black, a lot of higher level thinking so-called blacks, I see them and they say, damn, why is everybody using the word coon? You know why? You know what the word coon is now? The word coon has become for pro-blacks what the term homophobe is for homosexuals and what the term misogynist is for feminists. It's a defense word that they can use for anybody who disagrees with them or who thinks on a higher level than them. Okay? It's a shield word. Right? It's a shield and a sword at the same time. Okay? That's what that word is. Today we live in a society where people do not know how to properly use words, so they just use whatever they need to use to defend themselves, particularly when they know that there's no substance to what they're saying.
I think this NFL situation, I think this is the new NFL, and they're going to have social situations.
In other words, the NFL has been socially engineered. That's why he said this is the new NFL.
From time to time, and you just, like every company, you deal with it as it comes.
Jason, I agree with everything that you just said. I think it was very, very well put, and I think...
Yeah, you finally came around. You know, you being a female, you know, you were an agent of chaos, and you finally starting to see it because of what has occurred recently.
I think you're right that it would actually make things worse, because what if he does sign with the team, and now does he kneel? Does he not kneel?
He doesn't have the option. He must kneel now. He must kneel. Because if he stands, then all the other players are going to say, well, okay, well, what do we do? Because like I said, they're all lemmings. They're following the head lemming because he's a follower. He's not a leader. Kaepernick is not a leader. So if he was to come back into the NFL, the owners already know if they let him back in, he has to kneel. So that's the conundrum that the NFL owners are in. And this is what Michael Bennett, the scenario that Michael Bennett is trying to create, is a situation where we're not going to stand until Kaepernick comes back. And if Kaepernick comes back, then he must kneel. So in other words, everybody's going to kneel regardless because they're all going to follow him.
And then it becomes more about that than the actual message. And it was interesting. Malcolm Jenkins said that Colin Kaepernick was invited to go to the player and owner meetings on Tuesday and didn't show up. So does he care? Does he want to be at the football meetings? No,
he's more concerned with maintaining his distance because he has a lawsuit against the NFL and he wants to implode the CBA. That's his concern. He wants to implode the CBA and cripple the NFL because he thinks that by imploding the CBA, it's going to give the players the freedom to renegotiate and take back control from the owners. And all the owners are going to do is they're going to go into lockout mode. That's all that's going to happen. So that's going to be the chaos, the final bit of chaos that he's going to try to instigate in the NFL. So that's why he did not show up to the meeting. It's not in his best interest to show up.
No, he wants a job. He's got a lawsuit alleging collusion.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if he wants a job or not. I believe that he wants to implode the NFL, Whitlock.
But it is interesting. That's an interesting point because remember, he was political but didn't vote. So
no, I don't think he was ever political. I believe that he was societal. He was talking about the system. He stated from the start that he's against the system. He stated from the start that both parties are the same. That's one thing that he said that I agreed with. They're both working for the same entity, which is the Federal Reserve and the foreign bankers. He didn't get that explicit with it, but his sentiment I agreed with, even though he spoke it at a low level. But he was never political. So voting was not a part of his platform. So to say that he was political but didn't vote to try to imply hypocrisy there, no, you can't do that one.
So could I make an argument, Greg? There are mixed signals from Kaepernick. I care politically, but I didn't vote for president. I care about this issue. I'm invited. I don't show up to the meeting. What is the message?
So for me,
Well, before Greg starts, let me say that the message from Kaepernick has been very clear from the very start, which is that he's going to promote confusion. Why do I say that? His platform and his sentiment has from the start has been based in basically an assertion that can never come to fruition, which is that I'm going to kneel until there's equality. There's never going to be equality, so you're never going to stop kneeling. Okay? There's never going to be equality in this land, so you're never going to stop kneeling, because the equality that he's talking about is that he wants, to be loved by the Caucasian the same way that the Caucasian loves their own. And people might say, well, that's not true. He's not talking about being loved. He just wants fair treatment. Well, fair treatment is based in love. Well, you treat somebody is based on how and how you feel about them. So you really want the Caucasian to feel differently about you, because they won't stop treating you different until they feel different.
Number one, there is no anthem. This is not about the anthem. There's no anthem issue. It's a situation that the league has to deal with. The issue has nothing to do with players and the national anthem.
That's a lie. Players, including Kaepernick, have explicitly stated that the anthem is, started out first off that it had racist origins, according to them. Also, that the anthem does not represent what America is doing right now, so they don't respect the anthem. That's why they chose to execute their protest during the anthem. So this statement by a lot of Kaepernick's protectors that the anthem has nothing to do with anything, that's a lie, because if it didn't, then they would not be protesting during it.
Anthem and the flag. It's racial injustice. This is what it started for. And you say that it was because he got benched and he was pouting about losing his job. No, I totally disagree with that. I believe that this young man has done his homework, and this is important to him because it has touched him in some indirect or direct way in his life, and it touches all of us. It's not a white, black, color issue. It's a society problem.
No, sir. No. Actually, it's a so-called black issue. And the reason why you're saying it's not a white or a black issue is because, once again, the liberal Negro feels like if he can try to get the white man on his side, that it's going to bolster his argument. It's going to bolster his belief that his statements are valid, that it's affecting everyone. No, it's a so-called black issue. Okay? If the Caucasian does not feel like there's anything wrong, then it's not an issue that they have. Now, you're going to have a lot of liberal Caucasians who are going to jump on the Black Lives Matter thing. They're going to hold up Black Lives Matter signs. Why is that? Because you have some people who are professional protesters, right? They're always down for a good protest. They don't even believe half the shit they're protesting. They don't even have knowledge of half the shit they're protesting.
Problem that we've refused to address, that we've tried to water down to a anthem issue in our league. It has nothing to do with the national anthem, and every player that you talk to says that. I'm not trying to disrespect the national anthem. That is no, it's but my point is, if given any, how else can they will we listen to them? How else, what other impact can they make?
Easy. As I've already stated, you have 32 NFL teams. For the players who strongly believe in the cause of Colin Kaepernick, let them all organize a coordinated protest where they all go down to their local police chief and they protest outside of his office until he speaks with them. Let them all go to their city legislators and protest until they agree to speak and draft a bill stating that they want to have protocol in regards to how the police handle black men corrected or changed. That's how you handle it. We're living in the social media age. You don't have to do these things during NFL games. Everybody has a camera now. You have YouTube and you have Facebook and all these other social media platforms where you can get exposure.
Wow. Well, what other stance that would make the impact that this has made?
What impact has this made, Greg Jennings?
It was important to him. Why wouldn't he go to this kind of meeting?
Agreed. But I already explained why he wouldn't go. He raped me.
Or vote.
I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer to a lot of things.
Well, that's fair. That's good, brother. You know your limitations. That's fine.
And I don't think we we have answers to a lot of things.
Yeah.
These are our thoughts.
Right.
And for me, I think that if you do have Colin Kaepernick join a club, it will minimize it because now you see that players see that, okay, at least somebody gave him an opportunity. So
what about all the other?
No, that if he joins a team, all the players are going to say, look at all the shit we had to do just to get him on a team. You know, and they only got him on a team because of such and such. Like I said, the liberal black has the spirit of an obnoxious woman. All right? That's why I quoted Proverbs 21:19, man. Better to dwell in the wilderness than with an angry-ass woman. Okay? Because you can never satisfy what she's complaining about. I guarantee you, if they sign Kaepernick tomorrow, all most of these woke dudes in the NFL are going to do is say, see, we had to do all the only reason why they signed him was because such and such, yada, yada, yada.
All the other people that they claim that they're trying to preach for.
But that's the thing.
That still don't have jobs and aren't treated equally.
That's what we got to get back to because
we're not getting there though because Greg, what we're talking about is trickle down social justice. If we treat this $43 million millionaire black well, somehow this is going to trickle down to the poor people and they're going to get treated better. That's just not the case. I want to correct one thing, though, because, again, people love to say America doesn't address this issue. That's just not true. And so I just want to be factually correct in terms America, better than any country on the planet, does address these issues. We had a civil war where people gave their lives.
No, sir. Let me say this quickly. I understand the sentiment of what Whitlock is trying to say, and deep down, the liberal black agrees with what Whitlock is saying in regards to America addressing the race issue. Because if most of these internet revolutionaries really believed most of the rhetoric that they're stating, they would have left America, right? The Cubans didn't like Castro, so what did? They flee the country in droves. The liberal black here in America and the internet revolutionaries, they just go on the internet and they talk shit all day. But they won't fly over to Africa, you know what they claim as the motherland, quote unquote. Right? The Kemet dudes, they won't go back to Egypt or the Sudan or wherever, wherever they claim their ancestors are from. They won't do it. So, people get mad at Whitlock. They get mad at him a lot of times because he says a lot of inconvenient truths. There are two types of truths. There are truths that are convenient and there are truths that are inconvenient. And he speaks a lot of inconvenient truths. But he's wrong about the Civil War. No, the Civil War was fought at the behest of the international bankers. They were trying to bring in another central bank in America. That's all that was about. The second central bank was not able to be ratified, and they had to find a way to bring in another central bank. So they brought in a Discordian group known as the Knights of the Golden Circle. Later on became known as the Ku Klux Klan. To stir up or rabble-rouse in the South. And they also bankrolled a lot of so-called abolitionists in the North, which led to the secession and so on and so forth from there. That's a long issue that I already covered in previous videos. But no, the Civil War was not fought to free so-called black people. Abraham Lincoln actually wanted to deport. Abraham Lincoln was a homosexual, by the way, allegedly. He actually just wanted to deport blacks to Panama and also to the west coast of Africa. Okay? That's all that was about.
Lives. We've had civil rights movements where people gave their lives.
Well, the civil rights movement also was basically a socialist movement.
Black and white, for us to have the right to vote, for us to have these jobs that we have, for you to go to Western Michigan, me to go to Ball State. So America does address these issues. We can't just throw out a catch-all phrase of racial injustice with no definition. Because again, Martin Luther King and these guys, they were like, no, we want the right to vote. We want the right to go to school. We want the right to shop and live wherever we want. They didn't say, we just want racial justice.
I agree with that. But, also on the flip side, they have been particular and they have specified that they want to change in the treatment of the police and how the police treat so-called black men. All right, to give them the benefit of that doubt. But Kaepernick was very bland because, as I stated, he never had a plan when he started to throw his tantrum. Okay, but in regards to Martin Luther King and those guys, they were just agents. That's all they were. Okay, when I say agents, I'm not saying that they work for the government. I mean that they had an agenda. That's all that was. And Martin Luther King was a pawn. The real point was to promote a lot of Hermetic principles coming together, globalization. Once they were done with Martin Luther King, they popped him, and Bayard Rustin helped parlay a lot of the energy from the civil rights movement over into the gay movement. Okay, that's really what that was about. They really used the civil rights movement to really kick off the prison industrial complex.
They had something specific, and when given something specific, and you make a moral case and find common ground with people that don't look like you or think like you, then there can be change.
Once again, a lot of people don't like Whitlock. That's on you. I listen to people. I don't really align myself to any emotional platform. Whitlock is a necessary, depending on what your stances are. He's necessary. He's either necessary or he's a necessary evil. But either way, he's necessary because he provides a counterpoint to a lot of the liberal woke bullshit that you hear on ESPN, where everybody's trying to be woke. Okay, everybody's scared to have a disparate viewpoint because they don't want to be castigated as a coon or yada yada yada. This is why the Six, as it's so-called, with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill, is on its last legs. Okay? They need somebody like Whitlock to provide a proper counter.
But as long as it's just a slogan on a T-shirt and racial injustice, there's no place for people to engage or find common ground.
Okay, I'm not saying that America doesn't address it, but I'm gonna be real raw and honest right now. You two, Christine, Colin, if you walk out of here and go into any grocery store or any department store, you will be looked at completely different than if, whether you believe it or not.
No. You and I. Because we would be looked at differently.
Okay. And that's
control the people's.
You're right.
And exactly. Look, man. As a black man, we've all walked into department stores, we walked into grocery stores and had suspicious looks or whatever. I'm in a store to purchase an item. I'm not in a store to have people smile at me and all this other shit. If I feel like you're not conducting yourself in a professional manner, I just don't come back to your store. I don't get upset and I don't get mad because I'm not going to be validated by you liking me. I don't give two fucks if you like me or not. You have a product that I need to purchase. That's why I'm here. All right? You can kick rocks. I don't give a two fucks if you like me or not. And that, once again, this is the problem. A lot of black people just want to be liked so damn much.
You're right, but that's what it comes down to.
No.
And if the person is just that unprofessional, once again, don't service their establishment anymore. All right? Now, everybody's always talking about boycotting. Boycott a lot of these stores that you say are so racist.
Oh. When you look at equality,
we gotta move to the next topic.
But is that Nieta's football game about walking into a grocery store?
Yeah.
Like that to me is that is like I said before, that's a simmering, discussing issue. Is it a solvable? Exactly.
It is an issue with no solution. Right? The real solution is for the black man to view himself as his own master. This is why I call it the Bruce Leroy syndrome. The so-called black man is looking to be mastered by other races. He wants a master that will accept him instead of viewing himself as his own master. Even Colin Cowherd understands that a lot of these things that black people are talking about have no solution.
Issue?
Not at all. I can't control the. Look, my father owned the business in the black neighborhood. 1,000% is my favorite place on earth, Masterpiece Lounge. You couldn't control when a white person walked in there. You couldn't control how people reacted felt, and so it's not
right.
solvable.
You can't control it, but just because now I want to talk about it, you want to dismiss it?
It has.
Yeah, but how much you gonna keep talking, bro? I mean, how much talking you gonna keep doing? Once again, it's like a relationship. You done broke up with the bro. She still wants to call you up to talk about old shit that happened. We not together no more. All right? So what the hell are you calling my damn phone for? It's over. Okay? Everybody got to move forward in life. That's life.
It has gotten, I do think it has gotten bigger than just Colin Kaepernick, and you're starting to see more progression in that way. But if Kaepernick comes back, I agree with you. I think it's going to become more about Kaepernick.
It's always been about Kaepernick. Well, we got to move quickly.
Well, I won't say it's always been about Kaepernick. I think that in regards to him being used for a certain purpose, it's been about him. But anyway, peace.